welcome back to Less Lethal Contingencies. Alan here. So today we are going to be, we're going to be trying out this new drum mag again, okay? That I did, kind of swapped some of the spring out. Got some good advice from a viewer. The spring that came with it was super strong, to the point where it was a struggle. It was a real struggle just to even load 12 rounds into this. Now, the spring may be a little extra, maybe a little extra tension, since this one is the one that does will also shoot the shaped ammunition and the ball ammunition. But what I did was I removed the spring, and the smaller bottom part of the spring, it's made up of two springs, I replaced with a spare spring that came with my ADN drum mag, okay? And that spring is definitely slightly smaller, but it still worked just fine, but it doesn't have near as much tension. So with that as the bottom spring connected to the critical situations upper spring, longer spring, that seemed to give me a little bit more, kind of softened it up a little, just kind of softened it up enough where I can load 12 in here without, you still got to be careful. They don't go flying out everywhere, but it's noticeably easier to load, especially after with the first six rounds. So I have 12 in here. I attempted to load the full 18. You're not getting 18 in this. I got 15. And then you could see the coils in the springs were really compacted. And if you get 18 in there, you'd really be pushing hard, and I'd be, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't. So I think another one of my viewers out there made a comment that he had one of these and the most he could push through was 15. Like I said, I had 15, but what's the big deal? Like, if I can't get 18, which would be like comparable to 3 magazines, 6 rounds in each magazine, then it's not a big deal. I ain't gonna bother with 15. So I have 12 in here, which is fine because 12 is like 2 magazines. Okay, so I got 12. I ended up loading the 8-gram Joules in this. These are 6.85 ammunition, and I'll be running them out of my 6.85 barrel in my IntruBuster Gen 2 carbine, my Terminator build. So we got 12 of those 8-gram Joules loaded up in here. They measure out to be, or they weigh out to be about 8.2 grams each. And again, 6.85 would be the size of the ammunition. So we're going to shoot those, which, if I'm not mistaken, will be the first time that I've been able to, that I'm going to shoot 12 rounds. So hopefully we don't have any issues with the feeding. And that's kind of what I want to do, is test that 12 of the round balls will feed just fine. Once I know those will feed fine, then I'll probably play around with the shaped ammunition again. But now that I've lost a little spring tension, it's a little give and take in this particular relationship with this drum mag. With a little bit less tension on the spring, will that cause me problems feeding the shaped ammo? Maybe. Probably won't really materialize if there is any problems, unless I'm running the 10 gram, I would think. But I don't know. I'm not so concerned about the shape ammunition anyways, because we know, there's no guarantees with that. You can get jams pretty much, whenever they want to jam. So the ball ammunition is more reliable, obviously. But I am a glutton for punishment, like I said the other night. I probably will still test them and play around with them to try to get them to go good. Once you can get them to cycle or feed properly, they really put up some good feet per second. The shaped projectiles. So again, we're going to be running this my IntruBuster Gen 2 Terminator Carbine Build. Okay, we got a 12-inch barrel, 6.86. with a 6-inch long Reaper Suppressor by MCS. Doesn't suppress noise, but it does increase your feet per second. I have a quad rail, M4 quad rail handguard here that I have connected to the front of the pick rail down the bottom here via a low profile pick riser, Picatinny riser, one of the low profile ones. So I'm using that as a clamping system. Works out really good. And then for my vertical grip here, I have this aluminum matrix CNC skeletonized vertical grip from evic or evike.com. Really love this thing, nice and comfortable. Of course, I have the MCS grip and mag holder, okay, with a spare magazine on there as well, mostly for looks. We ain't gonna probably be dipping into that thing. I'm running the Home Defense 24 long rear tuning ASA, okay. We have a Solofish laser on the front on the one of the rails here. We have in CVLIFE, I should say, dot optic, multi-reticle, shake the wake optic. Good stuff. None of it's super expensive, but it's been holding up really good. And a standalone MCS slide check on and off over here. And I got that because I have a pin valve on this particular regulator that I'm running, this 4500 PSI regulator, which I'm running on the Huben Cricket stock, okay, which is what that is, the Huben Cricket stock. 800 PSI regulator, nothing super high power, but gets the job done. It's good and reliable. So we'll be using that as the air source, high pressure air. I usually have this pumped up to about 4,000 PSI, but I've used it a few times and we're sitting just a little over 2,000, which should be enough to get us 12 rounds, I would think. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna use the Huben stock, and we're gonna put these 8 gram Joules, and we'll shoot those, see what we get for feet per second on 800 PSI with the 12-inch barrel. All right, so let's go ahead and air it up. Let's air this baby up. Okay. All right, at the moment it's quiet. I do indeed have a problematic quick puncture degasser here. I ended up changing out the little O-ring on the quick puncture degasser, and I got it to quiet up. I also found that my whole tube that the 12 gram cartridge goes into was actually becoming loose. So I ended up Loctiting that down, and then I replaced the O-ring on here. And it's been pretty quiet with the new O-ring, but it is still a little fussy. Sometimes it does leak a little bit, and you got to try to tighten it up a little bit more. So I got a couple quick punctures on order. Hopefully I'll have those in a week or so. But so far it's quiet, so we'll take advantage of that. We're aired up and it's quiet. All right, so let me go ahead and get that motion light, wake that thing up, get my earplugs on. Come on. Yeah, and we'll shoot off 12 of these. We'll see how they cycle. See how this magazine cycles 12 rounds. Ball ammunition. So. All right. The laser on. We have, as I was saying, we got the 8 gram Joules, AR Tactical Joules. We got 12 of them in there. I don't have nearly the pressure that I had on with the spring now, so it's, you still got to be careful though. There we go. All right. That's what she looks like. All right, with the Huben stock and the Critical Situations Titan drum mag. All right, 8 gram rounds. Let's see what we do with these 8 gram Joules, 800 PSI. See how this feeds. I'm just gonna call out the feet per second. All right. Shot 1, 8-gram ammo. (532.8 feet per second). Shot 2, 533.3 feet per second. Shot 3, 535.6. Shot 4, 533.7. Shot 5, 531.6. Shot 6, 532.6 feet per second. Shot 7, 532.7. Shot 8, 536 feet per second. Shot 9, 528.5 feet per second. Shot 10, 532 feet per second. Shot 11, 540.9 feet per second, and should be one more shot, shot 12. 530.2 feet per second. That was some good shooting. Wow. All right. So I had a little over 2,000 PSI in there, and it didn't really seem to start to dip down until that last shot or two. Yeah, we're probably right about 800 PSI now for capacity on there. 800 PSI. Or this gauge here that came with the Cricket, it shows an MPA, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, we're about, I wouldn't even know what the heck that is, an MPA, but my brain don't talk MPA, it talks PSI. All right, so yeah, we're about 800 PSI left out of this. Anyways, they cycled, all 12 rounds cycled really good. Really, really good, no problems. The mag held up good, nothing's busted, so that's a win for us, especially if you know my luck on how I bust up Fowlers and magazine Detach tents lately. It's my guns just seem to like eat them up. Actually, there's a round left right there. You know what? Maybe I had more than 12 in here. Pretty sure I pulled the trigger 12 times. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. One comes rolling out, man. It's crazy. All right, let me see if I can take this thing off. Actually, I think we're good there. Yeah, it ran really good. Awesome consistency. I mean, what else can you ask for? I mean, that was consistency through all 12 rounds. I think the last round was like, maybe it dropped off 20 feet per second or something. It was just starting to diminish, right? Which makes sense because we were hitting about 800 PSI capacity left in the tank. So naturally, once you dip your pressure, your capacity drops close to, and certainly lower than what your regulator's putting out, then naturally it's not boosting pressure. So naturally that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so I'm excited. That was great. We got the magazine running really good now. Thank you again to one of my viewers for suggesting that. I guess that's what he did to his magazine. He had swapped out half of the spring, and that made all the difference. It definitely made it easier to load the ball ammunition, especially. It's feeding good, you know, no complaints there. It's feeding 12 rounds just fine. Not going to see 18 rounds in it, but that's okay. I mean, if I really wanted to force it, I could get 15 in there. Clearly, you know, I think I'd have enough air in a decent sized bottle to probably shoot 15, but 12's fine too, you know. And with this setup, hey, if I run out on the drum mag, I got another 6 over here, right? So, hey, there you go. Anyways, you know, if I haven't convinced them to take off after the first couple shots with this thing shooting about 120 joules on 800 psi, then what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more less lethal content, and yeah, hopefully having a great night. Peace. Peace out. Talk to you soon.